Alright, so today's video we're watching a Silver 1 tank on PC playing D.Va on Shambali. I've seen a lot of Shambali recently. They say, so I've been playing Overwatch since November, and I've taken a long time on quick play because I never felt comfortable enough to play ranked. But me and my friend, the Anna, just decided that we wanted to try ranked out now, and the new perk system came out. When it came to tank, I was really scared because I was afraid on how I would play as a solo tank. This match went pretty decent, and I'm still learning the D.Va Zarya matchup. Since I feel most of my matches, my enemy team seems to swap Zarya the moment they see a D.Va. I have watched a lot of your spectating videos, and this is where I have learned most of my D.Va tech. Overall, though, I would love any tips on my gameplay, and any criticism is also fine. Love your videos and wish you and your chat all the best. All right, and this is a little bit of a quicker game, but a D.Va, I play a decent amount of D.Va at times. Let's see how this goes. All right, now, from a hero selection, do I like D.Va on Shambali as much? No, but it can work. Going top left actually is the correct play. You're not going front and center on them. You're not giving them an easy kill, so that's a good start. Fine with the counter peel. Good job. I'll go for Widow top left. You can go for the BAP if you want to. Okay, you're fine. So far, so good. Good start. You said you just started playing Overwatch in November? Pretty good so far. Yeah, no problems on my end. Hero selection was pretty good there. Understanding the Widow can't really kill you during that. They went Zarya, which was the problem you said. Count bubbles now. This is where... So, already, when you're playing against that Zarya, this is you type into the Zarya now. Guaranteed you're typing into the Zarya, going, wow, you're already counter-swapping. Yep. Listen, I know what tank typing that when I see it, okay? Good backline pressure. This is the correct play for now. Only downside of this is this, okay. What I want you to do in this situation is I want you to check for what you did. So, like, the idea is correct. The idea is go back line, you stay away from the Zarya. But what I need you to check for next time is where the Zarya actually is. I think that might get you DMAC. Now, granted, maybe that was enough space creation for you to win the point here, but I want you to look for the Zarya next time, because sometimes what I try to do before I make this play is to bait a bubble out. Whenever they want to get energy, like, Zaryas will overcommit to that energy. What that means is I can basically force a bubble, and then I can use my flight to go deeper, and then overcommit in the backline this way, and the Zarya gets kind of stuck in the situation of like, do I sit here and help my teammates? Well, no, because there's 4 meters to the cart. So what the Zarya has to do is go this way to go here. You hope your teammates can deal with the Zarya, who especially doesn't have the charge, and then you're in their backline, and even if you get DMAC'd, you're causing pressure. But instead, you kind of get like half and half on the play. You don't look over here. You get a little bit indecisive. It's not like massively indecisive, like it's the idea is correct. So I'd rather you be decisive with it, but then the problem is that you didn't look for the Zarya. So it's taking that first step. Look for the Zarya first, and then make your play. That was basically the problem there. Either way, you get the point. So it worked out, right? Like, it did work out, but there's an easier way to go about that. So good job. Did we get a bingo yesterday? Yeah, we had a couple bingos yesterday with that. Yeah, it was cool. It was a fun bingo card. I'm glad we got to do that. I think it will look better with the video once it's done, too. So. All right, back in your suit. Now you can go top left right now if they're going Zarya. Yep. I mean, your decision making is already getting there. Yes. Now see how you've already pulled pressure on the Zarya and the Zarya immediately pop bubble. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, a lot of Zarya players really try to force the energy, and that's how you get them to use a bubble. Like right there, Zarya used both bubbles. I would count one more bubble now. But you don't even have to go for the Zarya because look what's happened. The Zarya has now left the rest of the team up here, so if you can find a way to go in their back line, right? And get, 2, maybe 3 kills here. Perfect nano. Zarya's back now, but you can go for Zarya now. You can go for the Zarya, yes. You're good. Good job. Well played. Get on the Ashe. Nice job. I mean, I have no problems how you played that against the Zarya. Straight up. The Zarya falls down, your reaction is to dive backline. You have a great nano from your Ana. You win. You trade out. You're good. That was great. Now, third point can be where you start to struggle a little bit, so I want to see where what you do here. But so far, you've been playing D.Va fairly well. Says this player in silver. Yes, but like, remember, just to kind of like summarize what they had said too, is that they just started playing in November, but they played pretty much nothing but quick play. So, I've said this a lot. Believe it or not, there's a lot of really good quick play players. A lot of players just like the experience of quick play and don't really want to like have a rank, or like don't need to have a rank, or don't have as much time. So you have a lot of talented players who are really good who just want to vibe out on quick play. So you'll have that especially occasionally where a player will be like, okay, you know what? I want to go play some rank now, and they go and play ranked, and the game's still going to have you in like silver at that point. But like mechanically, you might be in, let's say, Plat or Diamond, Masters, GM, because like you haven't played rank, so you don't have a rank yet. So there's a lot of players that have that, and this is one of those situations where they just started getting into ranks with their friend, which is the Ana, which is also the player that clutched there. And you know they're probably a little bit better than they might even think they are because you know mechanics are still a big part of the game and making plays. So yeah, yep. And so your GM, hey, I mean you never know. Right idea on your on trying to go for the grab, but next time I want you to really follow the Zarya with that. A couple tricks you can do is like fly away from the Zarya and turn around, then turn around again, and then right click. Things like that can be fun. But you had the right idea. Your timing was there. You just missed the DM, straight up. Like you had the right idea on eating the grab. You just straight up missed your defense matrix. You don't need to get the extra 1% here on that one. You can just hide. It goes up quick. Back in your suit. Back in your suit. To the Sombra? That Sombra tried. Yeah, exactly. You can ult this. You saw one bubble, which means that the Zarya is forced to make a decision. I get a lot of kills, by the way, when the Zarya has one bubble available during a grab because like they can't save, or not a grab, during a D.Va ult because they technically can't save them. So like there's a time where when you see that first bubble, you ult. This time it might be off. Nope. That might be. Didn't say it was gonna be. So good job. I was concerned the Zarya was gonna get a second bubble back, but definitely didn't. So nice ult. Good play. Good job. Yeah, my only concern was the Zarya's bubble was gonna be up again because it was like I think a 3-second window. But I think like if I had to guess, I'm just curious now. The Zarya's bubble was either one was up or there was none after that point. I want to say something just for the sake of that. Yep. So there it is. There's the one bubble, and that's why I was concerned about that. But guess what happened? The Zarya was so adamant on getting energy and surviving the Kitsune, popped the bubble, and that's why there was no bubbles. So that's why like when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this might be an interesting timing because you can have the bubble to save that. Nope, the Zarya immediately after getting waken up pops the bubble, and then you get 3 kills and you make a good play. So far so good. I think you played this kind of the way you would play it against the kind of the way that you would play it against the Zarya. I didn't see any major issues with that one. Oh, they bubbled the Kiriko. Whatever they bubbled somebody right away where they needed to save their bubble, is all I'm saying. That's what happened. Maybe it was the Kiriko or whoever, but like the point I'm making is that they needed to save their bubble and they didn't. All right, let's continue on and see how the rest of this goes. Now, defense is where this could get a little bit more rough for you because you're actually fine. Still under Ramatra? I don't know, we'll see. Let's find out. Did Ramatra Vortex? Yep. Good peel, you're fine. You're looking for more backline pressure. You can be careful. The Ramatra's clearly backing up. Don't be too aggro here, because you're going to back up into a Vortex. Yep, good job getting out. Just be careful of that, because the Vortex is going to slow you on your disengage out, regardless of how you do that. You're going to have to fly into them. Try not to overcommit too far right there. Your supports really were able to keep you alive during that one. But it all worked out, so. Okay, you start blasting. I think you're looking for the Sombra for a spy check, which is correct. I don't mind this play either. You're staying away from their tank. You're going pressure. The only downside of this sometimes is that you got to be ready to be willing to adjust your play style if for some reason it's not going well. It's the only concern I end up having is you need to create basically 2 different play styles on D.Va when that's what's going on. So far, so good. Good job. So far, so good. Okay. Again, you're doing fine. You could have ulted that, I would say. I think maybe you're thinking to, keep an ultimate for a retake, but I like the idea of ultimate just to keep your suit going. I don't like the ult retake here, but hindsight, it's also a safe play. There's times where I don't use the ult there. What rank are we spectating? Silver 1. You have the idea. So to give you an idea of what the playstyle I'm talking about, you probably hear me say that. You have the right idea, etc. A lot of like D.Va playstyle is actually trading backlines or going into backline rather than sitting there in the front line. A lot of players as D.Va want to play D.Va like Reinhardt, and I always use that example because Reinhardt is a character. We kind of all know the playstyle of Rein, right? You don't want to play D.Va like that, and that's what the playstyle is what you're doing is you're going to backline as D.Va the whole time, and you're not really trying to fight the tank head on. That's generally the correct way to play D.Va against these type of comps. Regardless of whatever they're on, you generally want to do that. Problem is as you climb, players get better at dealing with that, so you need to pick your timings right. But it's been good so far. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. You can see it too. It's either you peel back to help or you get aggressive on backline. Either or can work on D.Va. So. There you go. Here goes low. Yeah, you can help that. Good pull by your life lever. Keeping your suit. You gonna look for backline or Cassidy? Yeah. You played the mind game of can you DM this in time? Something I've learned about high noons, and this is a little bit of a tip. Try not to outplay the high noon with your defense matrix. Try to outplay the high noon with your damage to be able to predict when they're going to do that. Does that make sense to what I'm saying? So sometimes what players will do, and I've learned this just from experience against Cassidy, is they'll hold her out as long as they can. And like they're not going to feel pressure to do their high noon if their HP is fine, right? So what you do is you bait out the high noon with your damage, and then you have like almost kind of like this idea of, okay, if I get Cassidy to this HP, most of the time that Cassidy's gonna pop the ultimate. So what you do is you burst damage down, and then you try to DM the time. Otherwise, the defense matrix timing isn't gonna be enough time to be able to handle that. So lead off with damage, and then go into a DM. Don't lead off into a DM and hope they shoot. I hope that makes sense. Again, there's gonna be some outliers to that where you want to DM right away, depending on like your teammate's position and HP, etc. Like for example, like if your teammates all have 0 HP and you know it, you're going to have to DM it because your teammates will just fall over right away to the high noon. So you're forced to DM it. But most of the time, that's not the case. So what you do is you just, like I said, force their high noon with damage and then get a timing down that you can right-click it when they go for their high noon. A lot of Cassidys will generally start the high noon around the same amount of HP. Probably like, I'd say, I think 25 to 40% HP on Cassidy is that range. Unless they're being pocketed. Anyway, there you go. Hope that's helpful. I think you're forcing the backline pressure here in this part of the map. Just be careful. I think this is a good kill on Juno if you get it. But I think you are a little bit overcommitted to the backline play. Again, if it works though. So, and it's in silver, so you're fine. I say that because, like, in some ranks, you'll be able to get away with plays that are a little bit different because of how it plays, right? So, like in silver, you may not get as much peel for you doing that. Let's say it's a top 500 game, you know, I can get to their spawn maybe once there, but I gotta be out of there quick, otherwise I'm slapped D-maxed and that's that, so. You're fine for now with that one. If it works, it works. I don't... Again, I think you're forcing to play there. I want you to think more about why you're ulting that. Are you ulting that to get a bunch of kills in their backline? Well, think about where the card's gonna be. They're already pushing it. Are they gonna be in that spot? If you see that one person, is it gonna be worth the trade-off? Things like that. Answer to that? I mean... Again, hindsight, but you would have been nice to have your ultimate going into the last team fight. I think you're gonna hold this part, but there's also 25 seconds left, so it would have been nice to have the ultimate. They have Juno ult coming up, like Venture ult, I mean D.Va ult can kind of stop those ults in place. So, you know? Yeah. There you go. Okay. Also, a little side note, apparently Juno ultimate now lasts 10 seconds. So Juno got nerfed, but they forgot to put in the patch note that it's 10 seconds now for Juno ultimate. I mean, you might be able to get to the point here, but I think your team is staggered out quite a bit. So this is probably going to be a regroup situation. You're on the card. I mean, I honestly, I'm going for this ult. But How long is it before? 8 seconds. So I got a 2-second increase. Yep. Huh? Went from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. What happened there? Life Weaver pulled him. Those are my favorite D.Va ults. The one where you're going to go for a play, you're going to go high up in the air. The Life Weaver pulled the D.Va, so as the ult went off, the momentum brought the D.Va ult backwards. Or kept it in place. That's what happened. Yep. One thing you do sometimes, I want you to be careful of this. And again, you're getting away with it, but as you climb and get further into ranks, I want you to stop overcommitting your flight into their tank. That eventually that tank is going to turn on you and just roll you. And you're doing it quite a bit where like you go right into them, you fly into them. You don't want that. You don't want the other tank or like even the players to see you fly straight into them and know you don't have an escape for a bit. Because then they can just like, what I do is I just all in the D.Va for a second. I know I can pressure you out, and now your cooldown flow is not going to be as good as it was. I mean, there's ult in here. This is an ult dump, so that's fine. Damn, I can't believe your Mei ult in that's interesting, but you get 2. Like, I mean, both supports are dead. Like, the Mei's gonna die, but like, Mei killed 3, so that ended up being a good play. Your team's fine there. Yeah, other team's gonna struggle to come back there. Did use body block and Ramattra quite well there? Yeah, but like, can I be honest with you? If you're trying to body block me as Ramattra as D.Va, I'm okay with that. Especially if I'm in Nemesis form or my ultimate. Like, I'm gonna be able to shred through your. I'm gonna be able to shred through your suit. And on top of that, I'm going to be able to, like, keep my ultimate because you're activating my ultimate the whole time. Because the ultimate lasts 20 seconds, so if I'm in a really advantageous spot and you're trying to body block me as I don't know. Yeah. Nice ult. Yeah, I mean, great game. I mean, the advice I gave you kind of was in real time, too. Like, I can summarize it again. Like, I think for you, I definitely, well, my take is you're probably higher than silver. I think, yeah, you've learned a lot in quick play over the past however long you've been playing Overwatch for now. And I think you're definitely not in silver, just because I saw, like, your mechanical play, like, your backline pressure play is definitely well past what you normally see in silver gameplay with, like, the tank really backline pressuring. You played well. I mean, there's a few things you can clean up on, and I kind of mentioned that as we went on. Like, for example, just remember that you want to be in a spot where you don't fly right directly into the tank or into their team, like where they see you. When you went on the flanks, I love that. When you flew into them and it was obvious, it worked right now. That's going to work less. So I want you to get more in the habit of the side flanks and being more sneaky with, like, the style of play than, like, flying right into the tank. But that was pretty good. Yeah, you played well against Zarya. Try not to body block to Ramattra as much, you know, things like that, like small things. I think you're well on your way to, like, some good games. So I think clean up what I said there, and I think you'll continue to climb because I think you played perfectly fine here. So yeah, absolutely keep doing what you're doing. Work on the things we mentioned, and you got this. You absolutely got this. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to all the YouTubes if you haven't. Leave a comment. All that helps. You want to submit your own spectating? Description below. Remember with spectators, we get a lot of submissions, so there's no guarantee we get to it or watch it. But you know, there's obviously a chance. We get a lot of submissions. And yeah, we also record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch chat below the webcam. Also stream on YouTube, so stop by if you haven't. With that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day. Flash night.